Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Mr. Reality joined by psychic medium Liz Cross. And if you're not a Patreon member, please go to patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond. And you can leave me a cup of coffee. Look in the comments below. We read your comments. We thank you for them. Hey, Liz, I don't know if you know, but in 2025, this will mark the 60th year anniversary on Cinco de Mayo that the Grateful Dead first played together.
I did not know that.
So I wondered if we
Wow.
could talk to Jerry Garcia today and just ask him some questions about, his life, his times, his upbringing, and what's going on over there.
Yeah, sure. I have him standing here with the glasses and all.
Can you tell us what you see him looking like? Is he still bearded? Is he wearing like a tie-dye shirt? What's he look like?
He is standing here and he's in a black shirt and he's in like faded grayish looking jeans and he has on like quite comfortable shoes. He has a goatee and a bit of a like a beard. It's very short, and his hair is not like how it is in this picture here. It's shorter, but he does have the glasses on.
How soon or how recently did he get the notification that Liz Cross and Mr. Alley wanted to have a chat with him?
How soon did you get the notification? Immediately. Okay, but did you get it like right before we met up today to make videos? Oh, long before that. So when did you get this notification? If you were to put it into human or earth plane years, when did you get that notification? About 5 years ago.
Oh, I thought about it last night. I guess he's been in line for a while. What's he
Wow.
doing on the other side now?
What are you doing on the other side now? He's chilling out. Um, he's enjoying himself. He's relaxing. He is quite a high energy person when he's on the earth plane, he's telling me. And he's saying that it's nice to just relax. He does have a lot of energy behind him. And what I mean by that is he's like one of those people that's just unstoppable, right? They're going to do what they're going to do no matter what. They're just so passionate, they're so forceful, fearless. He's one of those.
Kind of the reason that I wanted to chat with him is in our consciousness transformation technique meditation, we talk about our past lives and the people that came before us and the significance of the name, the Grateful Dead, came about by random when he was flipping through a dictionary, but it's meant so much to so many people. And I wanted to know, was there a higher hand that had a purpose in him picking that name?
Ooh, was there a higher hand in that purpose that from picking that name? That name was decided before he got to the earth plane. And he loves that name. He thinks it's one of the most brilliant names out there.
Does Message think that the Grateful Dead should be grateful for those that have died or the grateful for our own past lives?
For those that have died. No, for grateful for being here on the earth plane, but being able to zone out.
What are some of the revelations that psychedelics brought to him when he was on the Earth plane?
What are some of the revelations that psychedelics brought to you while you were on the earth plane? Well, his consciousness would travel, he says, and where would it go? He would go all over the universe. This is what he loved about it. He was addicted to it, actually, and he would bring
Oh.
back information as well.
Can he give us something specific, like a revelation or some event that transpired in one of his spirit journeys? And was that out of body or was that different than that?
Was it out of body? I mean, he says yes, but I'm saying to him, did your soul actually leave your body when you were doing psychedelics? And that's a no. So it was the consciousness that left the body. And what he would go into his past lives, he would see his uh, loved ones in spirit, he says, his ancestors. He quite liked looking at that, connecting with ancestors, learning more about the family line. He was all for the use of psychedelics too. I mean, he thought they should have been legal and that they should have been used in
Oh, yeah.
medical.
Can he tell us how much of a percentage he was able to travel using psychedelics down here versus his spirit life now?
So is it different now? Yes, he says. So are there differences between your spirit life now and you doing psychedelics on the earth plane? Yes, because he doesn't have to worry about the body. He can travel where he wants to for as long as he wants to, access all the information he wants to. He is a very curious person. I feel he never stops learning, so he likes to access a lot about a lot.
Hmm.
And there's no body which he says is bringing him down, meaning like the come down or
Okay.
having to, survive and live. I mean, he quite likes this realm.
Can he give us an idea of one of the revelations he's made since crossing over in his spiritual journeys over there?
That nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. No matter how much you want it to be permanent, that goes against the universe. There's nothing permanent in the universe. It's constantly changing, constantly expanding, constantly growing. It has to. If it was stagnant and permanent, the universe would have died out a long time ago.
How about his own spirit guides? Are they permanent or do they shift?
How about your own spirit guides? Are they permanent? No, they shift. He quite likes to have them do different rotations. Do you have the same ones in each lifetime? No, he doesn't like that. That was a good question because most people end up with similar spirit guides in every lifetime, but not
Right.
him. He says he likes to have different ones, different experiences coming in.
So now that he's able to see the book of all of his past lives and his incarnations, were the images he got accurate or were they tainted by the psychedelics of his past incarnations?
Were the images that you got accurate? Not all the time. A lot of it was, a combination of his imagination, different entities trying to feed him information, uh, exploring in different and wrong areas, listening to things or misinterpreting things, visuals that he was seeing
Right.
that was often misinterpreted.
So does he think that the psychedelics harmed his body or led to greater expansion for him and his music?
Mm. Greater expansion, definitely. It allowed him to go places with his music that the sober, conscious mind could not reach, could not go. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer in here.
Right.
I know he's, positive and gung ho for all this stuff. I personally, me, I'm anti-drug. So I'm just going to say, for those of you out there, don't do drugs.
Right. We're not encouraging this kind of behavior. I'm just
Right.
curious. How did he go into each performance? Because I mean, marathon performances all the time. What did he have like visions about each of the shows they played or goals in each of the shows? What was it like to approach each unique performance?
What was it like to approach each unique performance or every time you did a show? Were you On drugs when I mean he was on drugs a lot of times when he was doing the shows, when he was performing, which is why he could perform for a very long time and the audience could sit through it for a very long time. So I'm going to ask this question. So how were you able to be a businessman and also be addicted to psychedelics? Because addictions and success, they usually, I mean, they can go hand in hand for a
They don't mix
while, and then
sometimes.
ultimately it leads to some sort of downfall. And he's telling me it did lead to a downfall. He was broken. He couldn't kick the habit. He's telling me there were this, it started to fall apart. And but for the fact that they had a good person behind them who
Okay.
could deal with people and addictions and also run the business. But he's telling me this person stole a lot of money as well.
Well, when he says things fell apart, can he tell us what aspect of his consciousness and his life fell apart more specifically?
When you say things fell apart, what do you mean? Relationships, he wasn't able to really function properly. He wasn't present in relationships. He just didn't really even want to have his consciousness here on the earth plane. He
Hmm.
wanted to have his consciousness floating around out there, gathering information. He was addicted to it. And the come down of having to function here on the earth plane, it was really difficult for him.
I wanted to ask about fans and just how it was being kind of the central figure of the Deadhead movement. How did he deal with that? Or did he do it the same way and just kind of not be present around people? What did that do to his soul?
Hmm. Um, the fans. How were the fans? Oh, he loved the fans. He lived for his fans. Um, and what else? I mean, he that was his family. He says the fans were his family. They loved him more than his own family ever could or did, and he appreciates that.
Did he have other past lives of fame and notoriety? Or was this kind of the first one and that's why maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's no, that's a reasonable question. Did you ever have other past lives of fame and notoriety? This is what he lives for. Okay. He likes to be famous. He likes to have notoriety. He's telling me he has been, uh, known in many of his past lives. He was a writer and he poet and painter. He was around during was it the Expressionism age? He was that what you said? He was around that late 18th century era with all the painters. Were you in the USA then? No. He was in Paris. He comes from, he's telling me, certainly in that lifetime, it was a French background.
Hmm.
And he hung out with all the painters and he loved it. He loves all of that. He likes being surrounded by artists.
How many incarnations as a human being has Jerry Garcia had?
How many incarnations as a human being have you had as a human being? He's pretty up there, he's about 400.
And was that kind of the pinnacle of it, or are there greater heights for the next maybe 10 Jerry Garcia incarnations?
Are there more? Oh yeah, he's coming back as someone famous. And who is that famous person going to be? A female. And what are they going to be? A singer, a female singer. And she'll have demons to battle in that lifetime. And what else are you going to do? Are you going to be in a band? Yes, she's going to have a band. And she's going to come from quite a poor background, but then she'll go into massive fame and fortune. But the thing is, she's going to burn out. She's going to burn out really fast. It's kind of like a comet coming at the Earth's atmosphere too fast and too sharp an angle,
So
and she will suffer an early death.
what's the soul journey on that then? What's the benefit?
What's the benefit on that? It's about making your mark in a short amount of time and seeing how much you can achieve. It's almost like a challenge for the soul. He's telling me to see how much can be accomplished in a short amount, in such a short span of time.
Does he have like bets with other people on the other side? How fast I can make it and how quick I can burn?
Hmm. Are there bets on the other side? No. Are souls on the other side quite competitive with one another? No, not really.
Huh.
Competition is reserved for the earth plane.
So he's only benefiting himself in that instance then.
Are you only benefiting yourself? Mostly, yes. But also with those types of lifetimes, they usually have such an impact on those around us. Now, something interesting he's saying here, which is you impact more people when you're younger. So the music impacts people when they're younger. Um, they haven't been experienced, or they haven't experienced such highs and lows and great losses. When you're older in life, you've gone through, some losses in your time. You've heard a lot of tragedy. You've witnessed a lot of tragedy, whether it's firsthand or just hearing about it.
Yeah.
And so to have the biggest impact is to go in young and to die young, he says. Now, he wasn't necessarily young in this lifetime when he died, but young
Well,
enough, he says.
yeah. Does he still get fame on the other side? Did people come and say, "Hey, can I have your autograph?"
Do you still get fame on the other side? Yes, people do recognize that he was once Jerry Garcia, as well as his other personalities. And do they ask for your autograph? I mean, no, because, obviously he can't give them an autograph, but
Well,
they
what is
do
the
have a
interaction
chat.
like then?
Yeah, it's about like the impact that he had on society or on fan groups. It's about that impact he had during that time. Wasn't it great? Wasn't the music wonderful? Wonder what the music's going to be like the next time.
So it's a nostalgia-based interaction that he's having with other side entities?
So is it a nostalgia? Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh. And what's the deepest question that he's gotten asked by one of his fans on the other side?
The deepest question that you get asked by one of your fans on the other side. Well, the deepest question he says is, would I do it again? And he says, absolutely, 100%. He would do it over 1,000 times if he could. If he
And
could
there's,
be Jerry Garcia in that specific date and time, in that era, leaving that same specific date and time, all the circumstances were the same. Do you have any regrets? No, none. He has zero regrets.
and when he comes back as Sarah Garcia or whatever her name's going to be, what's the genre of music that he's looking to make a mark on then, or she, or her? I don't know how to do pronouns if you have many of them as an other side entity.
So how are you going to, what music are you going to do? It's going to be soul music. It's going to be R&B, soul, um, jazz.
How far out are we
Yes.
talking?
How far out are we talking? About 100 years. I'm like, is jazz gonna still be around? Oh yeah, he says jazz is making a comeback in the
What's
next 20 years.
Oh, okay. Well, what's he think about artificial intelligence and music?
What do you think about artificial intelligence in music? Oh, horrible, horrible. Will there be a resurgence of music that does not rely upon artificial intelligence, like a mass resurgence? No, there will not.
It's not going to happen, or he doesn't see it happening.
Do you see it happening? The mass resurgence of homegrown, grassroots music made by real musicians, written by real humans on a mass scale as we move out into the future? No. So that's what's going to make him or her unique in the next lifetime because you know, people are will be frightened to go out on a limb and actually stand there and sing with their real voice. They can make mistakes. They may not be up to it. It's a challenge in the future.
He often said that the Grateful Dead was an experiment of kinds. How did that experiment evolve over the course of his lifetime?
How did that experiment evolve over the course of your lifetime? It was a great experiment, he says. And what it was experimentation with consciousness.
Without psychedelics, people listening now, how can he recommend they evolve or help elevate their own consciousness?
How can people elevate their own consciousness? Through meditation, through past life regression, through remote viewing, right? You can remote view, he's telling me, your DNA, what is held in your own individual DNA, what traumas are held there. You can look at your future lifetimes as well. What else? How do you suggest people heal? They have to find ways that they resonate with to heal themselves. It's not a one size fits all, he says.
I'm curious about like the greatest burden that he feels he made while he was down here on the earth plane, that he wishes he would have had a chance to process that didn't get processed.
The greatest burden.
Yeah,
It's
bad
something
karma,
to
negative
do.
debt, whatever you call it.
So the worst karma, what is the greatest burden that you had or negative karma? Not being there for his family,
Hmm.
no children. But he doesn't regret it, right? It's just it is what it is.
So there are no burdens, no debts, no hindrances that he made while being a
Um,
psychedelic crooner.
Let's ask this. Did you create any bad karma while you were Jerry Garcia? Oh yeah, now if you ask him, did he create bad karma? Yes, absolutely, especially with regards to relationships. Lots of bad karma there, to the point where he will have to be on the other side of that in the next lifetime. It will be his turn to be the victim or the one that's left out in the cold. And it will be their turn to be addicts, addicted, abusive. So it's that same scenario, but oftentimes we find this, right? We found this before where we play different roles in the soul family. So you could be the mom, or you could be in the next lifetime the dad, or the siblings, or maybe the grandmother, and you take on whatever it was that the other person had so you can experience that side of the story. And he's in agreement. I'm saying, do you always do this? Do you always play a different part in the story? Do you always like switch roles? all the time. Now, that's something interesting because some souls like to play the same story over and over and over, right? I'm always going to be their dad. I'm always going to be their mom. But he doesn't like he's very flexible. He likes to be in different scenarios and experience all sides.
Are there deadhead shows on the other side?
Oh my gosh, are there deadhead shows on the other side? Yes, all the time.
Does
He'll
he go
sing
to
for
them,
you.
and who's doing him?
Who's doing you? He plays himself.
Um, like there's no music, there's no sound, there's no auditory processing. So, what are the shows like, and how many is he running over there as Jerry Garcia incarnation?
Do you have concerts? Yeah, he does have over there. I mean, do you have like major concerts on the other side? Not major, no. But if somebody asks him to give him a tune, he will. But there's no auditory, there's no sound. But it's about frequency. So can songs go on a frequency wave and be transmitted to somebody else? Absolutely, they can.
What are the things has he enjoyed journeying to on the other side, in addition to concerts? Like, what else is for entertainment there?
What else is for entertainment on the other side? Well, he likes exploration. He likes to travel as close to source as he can possibly get. Source is a very large uh, energy, and you can't get too close to that energy.
What can he tell us about Source that we might not know?
Ooh, what can you tell us about source that we might not know? How magnificent and beautiful the energy actually is. As a human, can we look at that energy? No. No, it will burn us. It's too powerful. It would just completely destroy us. Is that why we are like only able to access incremental energy, like incremental source energy? That's why we don't have access to all of source energy when we're here, because source energy is so powerful that we wouldn't be able to handle it. Yeah, that's precisely it.
Did he make a soul contract with his bandmates to start jamming when they came down, or did they kind of just meet like as happenstance?
No, they had contracts and they've all been together before in many lifetimes.
Did he ever have like a transcendent moment when he was doing a show where he, what was the most transcendent moment of one of his live shows, I guess?
What was one of your most transcendent moments in one of your live shows? Well, yeah, his consciousness wouldn't even be present on the stage. It was like the body was playing and performing, and yet the consciousness wasn't even there. And he loved that. There was something so freeing about having two aspects of yourself doing two different things at once. And yet, they one was acknowledging what the other one was doing, the other one was acknowledging what the conscious mind was doing, and yet they didn't have to be as one to perform.
Did he ever have an out of body experience while doing a show and he got to see himself perform?
Oh, did you? These are really, really good questions. Again, Mr. Reality does have a tip jar listed in the comment section, pinned at the top. These are excellent questions. Did you ever have an outer body experience when you were performing a show? Not an outer body experience, no, but a consciousness travel, yes.
Hmm.
I
How
have
many
a
go
question.
ahead.
I have a question. So
Yeah.
how, if you were doing this and there were times when you were just playing and playing and playing, you oftentimes unscripted, you were just off on a tangent with your music. How did the band know to keep up? And he's just saying it was quite intuitive. They just knew. They knew how to keep up.
Did the psychedelics kind of fragment your soul, or has it always been that? And like, is there any damage done to your soul from those psychedelics that you need to heal in some point in the future?
Did the psychedelics, did they fragment your soul? Many times. Many times they fragmented his soul and left pieces all over the place. Now, that's an interesting question because I'm going to ask, is that routine for psychedelics? Not not as microdosing or not in small healing proportions, but the level that he was using psychedelics, absolutely, because it became an addiction and it was too much. I mean, I feel like he had other addictions as well. There were certainly other drug addictions in the fray. And so was it the combination? Again, a combination of addictions was not helpful, and it did fragment his soul.
People often say their number one fear is public speaking, the second fear is death. So, did he ever have a fear of dying? Or because his namesake was so close to that, did he have a familiarity and a kinship with it?
Were you scared of dying? No, no, because he had seen his future lifetimes. He had seen his loved ones in spirit. He had made those connections. Death was nothing for him to fear. No.
Huh. Can he give us one shred of a past life that he finds was the most poignant in his evolution of his soul?
Can you give us a past life? Oh yeah. Yeah, he's showing me a past life of where he was some sort of insect. He had wings, small. I don't even think this insect is still here on the earth plane. I think it's extinct, no longer here, or it's maybe morphed into something else, evolved into something else.
Why
So
was
what
that
can,
poignant?
yeah, why was that? Oh, because he had wings. He could fly and he was small and he could often go flying around unnoticed. And he enjoyed that. That's what gave him this idea of Jerry Garcia.
I was thinking, more biped range, but thank you for sharing that one with us, Jerry. Maybe
Yeah,
we're gonna
but
use the trippy one.
even when he was a painter in his last life and he was around the Parisian art scene, he said, we weren't just painters. We would let go of our consciousness in the paintings. Our consciousness was there. It was as if we were inside the painting, experiencing what was going on in the painting. It wasn't it he loves these experiments with the separation of consciousness and body. Are you going to do that again? Absolutely, he is. And a lot of the music that he or she in the future lifetime will sing about will be astral projection, escaping the consciousness. It's not going to, I know we said like soul and blues and all that, but the lyrics are going to be really profound. It's kind of what he says, and I've never thought of it like this before, layered music. So if you have one level of consciousness, the lyrics mean one thing. But as you have different levels of consciousness, the lyrics mean totally something totally different to other levels of consciousness. It's not just one message in one lyric. That's what he loves. That's what he says he did with the Grateful Dead. And that is what he plans to do in the future. So, dependent upon your vibration, your frequency, your expansion, your intellect, these lyrics are going to be layered. The music will have different meanings for different people on those levels of consciousness. Now, isn't that amazing? I've never actually thought about that before, but now I'm going to invite the audience to put examples in the comments section to give us, what he's talking about. Because I'm like, yeah, I know I remember this, or I've heard of, I can think, I'm trying to think of a song or a band or songs that did that before, that where the lyrics mean something totally different. I would go so far as to say Bob Marley would be one, right? So Bob Marley, and he's agreeing with me. Oh God, now here's Bob. No, but Bob Marley is one of those where, if you're just at a lower level of consciousness, the lyrics mean one thing, but then as you're going through and evolving, the lyrics mean something else. So maybe you go back to that song 10, 20 years down the line, and now you understand that that song means something totally different to what you thought it meant in the first place. Wow, that is so awesome. Bob Marley and Jerry Garcia are old friends, by the way.
Well, I want to thank Jerry Garcia and Bob Marley for popping by, and each and every one of you out there, and Psychic Medium Liz Cross for letting us do this. And thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Yes, and I so look forward to your song suggestions in the comment section that gives examples of precisely what Jerry Garcia is talking about. And don't forget, if you are interested in expanding your consciousness, you need to go to the backup channel, the CTT channel. It's free energy healing. A lot of information on there, guys. A lot. You're missing out if you're not on the CTT channel. So thank you, Mr. Reality. This was fantastic.
Thanks. Bye bye.